Hello, this is K6OZY here. Today I'm going to be going over the new changes for primarily digital use in SmartSDR version 1.6. I will be concentrating primarily on the digital changes. There are many other changes to 1.6 that are worth discussing, especially in the contesting side, but I want to concentrate on the digital stuff. 1.6 has a complete rewrite of the SmartSDR CAT and DAX systems inside of the operating system. The major changes allow for a lot more flexibility and hands-off use. In the older software, SmartSDR would install DAX using sound cards for both the transmit and the receive side. On 1.6, it has been rewritten. In 1.6, all of the transmit sound cards have been deleted, and there is a single transmit device called Audio TX. All of the receive sound cards remain in place. Let's start by looking at the DAX control panel. In 1.6, the TX is now at the top instead of divided across all the different slices with their own TX flag. And there is a new mic stream. This is going to be used for capturing real-time audio for contesting like N1MM. I will not be discussing that here. Then there's the 1 through 8 DAX streams, and then the IQ streams below. That portion is just like the 1.5. The unification of the TX sound card is an important requirement for utilizing a new feature that was introduced, which is called auto switch transmitting. Over in SmartSDR CAT, you can see it is completely different, and it allows for you to enable both COM and PTT, and there are additional protocols such as OTRSP for contesting and a full WinKeyer emulation. You still have your PTT, your CAT, but this time you can assign a PTT or a CAT port to a slice. After doing that, you may also toggle the Auto TX for that particular slice. This feature is extremely important for digital users because it allows us to automatically switch to a slice whenever we begin transmitting without having to move the TX flag by hand. This VFO slice assignment is extremely important for CAT protocol users because now you can use any of the slices in the system and it will appear to the application that is bound to it as if it was VFO-A. This is extremely useful and now allows us to use digital programs that require looking at CAT VFO-A, even though it may not be on slice A or slice B of the radio. I will demonstrate where this comes in useful in a bit. SmartSDR CAT has also been extended to provide logging. You can now do extensive logging and help debug any problems that you may have. You can remove individual ones by highlighting and clicking remove. You can click and then shift click and remove a whole slew at once. And you can also edit one and change its settings after it's been created. Very, very powerful. The other nice feature is that it will show you what process is connected to this COM port at any time. And the way I set up my SmartSDR CAT is, since I have a Flex 6700, I create COM ports for slices A through H, and then for applications that may need PTT trigger, I create another set of COM ports for PTT that's A through H as well. Some digital applications don't want to use the CAT protocol and have to use good old PTT. So I enable both. So let's go into the application. SmartSDR 1.6 has a lot of other changes that I will go over, namely in profiles. One of the most useful features added is profile mode persistence, so that if you have a particular profile bound to a mode, it will recall it, so that if you're on CW and you have a CW profile and you switch over to one of your digital profiles or DigiU mode, it will restore your digital profile. Mic profiling has now been split into two sections. Your mic profile is now a separate entity than your transmit profile. The transmit profile deals only with portions of the radio, such as the TX key out, the interlocks power and tune per band persistence, and this allows it to be decoupled from your mic profiles. So for mic, I have a digital profile. It has a flat disabled EQ. It has low-high cuts at 0-3000. I have mon-enabled, DAX-enabled internal mic. It ignores that, obviously. All of this other stuff is ignored when you're in DigiU mode. Over here, what I've done is I've set up a absolute worst case scenario, or busiest scenario you could think of, to demonstrate how powerful the new digital modes are. In the first pan adapter, I have two slices, A and B. I'll be demonstrating them on JT65 at the same time. On slice C, I will show you how I have RMS Express for WinLink working. On pan adapter 3, I have 3 slices created, all of them statically sitting and locked. Let me lock these on the exotic frequencies of digital. I like doing digital exotic, and so I sit in each band listening. And the fourth pan adapter is using Multi-PSK, so that I can use other modes that Multi-PSK has that FL Digi does not, such as ALE 400. And then last but not least, my last pan adapter is for CW transmit, and also hooked up to SDR bridge for CW skimmer. So let's begin by looking at how to set up JT65 for both A and B and have them work simultaneously. I'm using JT65, let me check the version for you, 1.60. I'm using build 6263. And the way you set this up is you have to create a profile so that it saves the configuration to a different name, and that will allow you to launch it twice. Now, the user directory is shared with the both programs for saving the configuration data. What I do is I went to my C drive and I copied the install directory to another instance. I created 2 shortcuts on my desktop. The first one is the normal shortcut that was created that was pointing to WSJTX here. And the second one went in here to the same directory path to WSJTX on the desktop as well. Now, to have 2 unique configurations run at once without collision, what you need to do is you need to add a switch parameter at the end of the launch line that says --rig -name equals, and then some unique name. It doesn't have to be slice A or anything like that. It just has to be unique. And then I did the same thing for the shortcut that is in the other directory and called it slice B, like that. Once you do that, WSJTX will launch successfully twice, and then it'll present you with an empty configuration for both setups. So let's go into the setup for the slice A. Using the new settings in SmartSDR, this will allow us to isolate both programs. They will be able to band switch freely, and it works very well. So under general, I put in the normal stuff. This is all personal preference. This is normal stuff. But under radio, I pick the TS2000. I pick COM4 because I want it to be using slice A. And as if you see over here, COM4 is defined as a CAT port. That's what the C stands for. And if I edit it, you can see that it's set to VFO A will be bound to slice A with auto TX enabled. And because I'm on A, I also have it set up where slice A is RX1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down the line here, so that they correspond logically. So that means on the audio, well, before I go to audio, let's finish this. You have to set the PTT method to CAT, and that's it. That's all I changed. I simply picked TS2000, COM4, and switched that to CAT. Leave the pole interval to 1, so it actually checks the radio's frequency for that slice every second. Under audio, I pick RX1 and then DAX TX on the TX side. That's it. And I hit OK. And then I move on to the next instance. I go to the other version. I have it running here. Notice that the name of your rig gets put up in the title bar. It's nice so that you can keep track of which one's which. And I go to setup. It's very similar, except for this one is COM5 instead of COM4, which corresponds with B. And you see how it says WSJTX is the process bound to it. And the audio is switched to RX2, and the TX is still set to TX. You can notice that the save directory is named after the rig parameter that we put in the launch shortcut. Okay, now these are both running at the same time. Now I want to demonstrate how you can freely band switch, and the band switching is obeyed properly by the new SmartSDR CAT. So I'm going to double click this bar here to maximize this pan adapter so that we can see it. I'm going to move it out of the way just a hair so we can see this. Now on slice A, we're on 30 meters. You can see it corresponds to the right frequency. The green light here means that it's communicating with the radio properly. If this turns red, then there's a communications failure. If this is not yellow text, this means that you are tuned to a non-standard JT65 frequency. So I'm going to drop down here and switch this to 20 meters. And you can see that slice A did indeed switch to the 20 meter frequency. Now if I go down here, you can see that the slice B is down on 7076, which corresponds to here. If I want to move this guy up to 30 meters, I'll switch him here. Boom, you see him move up to 30 meters. Notice that how he is not the active transmit flag here. So watch when I click tune. Using the new system in 1.6, by clicking tune, it's going to invoke the CAT transmit command on COM-B. Since auto switch TX is enabled, it will properly move the TX flag over. But before it does that, it will also recall the auto tuner memory for this particular part of the band. And we'll do it very fast, just like that. And now we're tuning on 30 meters. Then if I go back to the top instance and I click tune, and we go over to this so you can see this one, I click tune, bam, over here. It's very cool. And I like switching the TX to even on my second instance, and I can have opposing transmissions. The reason I can do that is because my RXB is a pixel loop antenna. And if I set both of my JT65 instances to RXB, being that this is full duplex, I can now enable full duplex down here at the bottom, and I can receive while I'm transmitting on the other side, and I can just go back and forth. That is a very efficient way of doing dueling JT65. It's very awesome. So now we have those two running, so I'll just let those receive for a while. And I will move to the next slice. Let me unmaximize this first pan adapter. Now this slice C I have set up to be set to RMS Express. And so let's bring up RMS Express. Let me move this guy over here some so we can see the DAX panel while we're doing the testing here. So on this guy, this is RMS Express. I have another video going over how to set it up, but I will go over the general setup really quickly with the new configuration with 1.6. Okay, where did that interface window go? Okay, here it is. I want to go to Setup, Radio Setup. Under Radio Setup, you're going to pick Flex Radio. You are going to have this set to USB digital. You want to set this to the COM port that you want to use for the corresponding slice. In my example here, I'm using slice C. Slice C is bound to COM6 using the CAT protocol with Auto TX enabled. And you can see RMS Express is bound to that port now. To make sure that the PTT works properly, instead of using a PTT port, which I could just pick the corresponding slice C COM port 14, but it's unnecessary. The new rewrite has been optimized so well that I've tested extensively that the time to transmit using the CAT protocol is the same speed as the time to transmit for the PTT protocol. On the prior versions, there would be, on fast turnaround protocols like Winmore or ALE, you could have a little bit of a delay that would cause an interruption just enough to miss the beginning. And unless you use the PTT port for PTTing, it would not be fast enough. But with 1.6, that's no longer a problem, so there's really no reason to use PTT-based COM ports unless there is no CAT support in the application that you're using. So since there is CAT support in RMS Express, I will use it. And you do that by simply picking the word flex instead of the COM port down here. And then it will try to PTT via CAT, which works fine. I hit update. Then I'm going to go set the sound card. Go to Winmore Setup. I'm going to set this to DAX RX3, which corresponds to 3 here, which is slice C. Always picks DAX Audio TX for now, because that's all there is now. And hit update. Restarts the system. Comes right back up. Works great. Now to show that it's properly working, I'll do a quick call. You can see it actually tuned over to an 80-meter channel. But I'm going to pick someone here locally, see if I can get them to come back to us. Let me unmute the radio. Oh, that's a bit loud. Turn it down just a hair. I have some other slices unmuted here. Let me make sure. Oh, no. Nope, it's this guy. I usually like having all of my slices set to 55 for digital. Bring back up RMS Express. I'm going to select appear. And I have a guy in town here that's just really close to me. And let me see if he's home. Sometimes he's not, sometimes he is. But as you can see, it's properly switching to this slice without any problems. And everything's working perfectly. And the nice thing is if I had my full duplex enabled up here at the top, I could still be receiving JT65 at the same time. Matter of fact, I'm going to show how that's possible here. Turn that volume down. Wow, that was deafening. So to do the full duplex, I will bring this guy back up. I'm going to switch him to use RXB, which is my loop antenna. And this guy's now RXB because the antennas are pan adapter wide. They're not slice specific. And now I'll just simply turn on the FDX, and now I have full duplex. Now give me a moment. I'm going to go turn off I have my pixel loop mute during transmit so it doesn't blow it up with my amp, but in this demo we can turn that off safely. So I'm going to pause the video, go turn off that switch, and be right back. Okay, I am back, and I realized I didn't have to do that. There's a way to do that on the radio itself. I simply could have turned off the transmit TX1 assertion, and that would not turn off the relay. The RF Pro Pixel Loop has a voltage box that sends voltage out to the preamplifier, and it cuts the voltage during transmit so you don't send RF into the preamp while it's on. I only have to do that when I'm using my amplifier. Anything barefoot, it's far enough away, it doesn't cause any problems. So I'll just turn off this for now so it's easy to demonstrate. Hide that back over there. And now when I transmit using RMS Express, my JT65 transmissions should not be muted, meaning you'll see no interruption in the waterfall. So let's give that a try again. Open back up RMS Express, open a WinLink right there, and start. Yep, there you go. And because it's a Flex 6700, you can see that there is no muting of the other SCU when I'm transmitting, which is great. So I can still receive JT65 on slice B the whole time. Bring the waterfall up. I'm still decoding all this JT65 while doing all the other stuff. This is excellent. This means if you use JT Alert and other applications, you can continue to be active on the digital channels as long as you use an alternate antenna. It's really awesome. Okay, so there is RMS Express on slice C. Now let's move on. Now on my slice D, E, and F, I run 3 instances of FLDIGI spread across the 3 bands so that I'm always listening to my exotic bands because I love all the exotic modes. So here I have 3 copies of FLDIGI running, and they are all set up using the similar method, slice D, E, and F. Notice that they properly show the frequencies because of the new CAT rewrite, 1473, 10146, and 7073. And I can go into the configuration for each one of these, and you can see how it's set up. So I go to rig control, and under hardware PTT, I no longer use the hardware-based PTT because of the new rewrite. It's so fast. Under rig cat, I still use the SmartSDR slice A XML file. I pick the corresponding COM port, which in this case is COM7. If I open up SmartSDR CAT, you can see COM7 is slice D. And make sure you check CAT command for PTT right here. Click initialize, save, close. Boom, works. Go over to slice E, rig control, slice A XML, COM8, CAT command for PTT, save, close. Configure, rig control, COM9, CAT control, good to go. And each one of these works properly. So if I move down, I'll move these instances down so you can see it. And I'll hit tune on each one of these, and you can see the auto TX feature properly move and transmit as expected. It's absolutely awesome. So here we go here. There we go, we're tuning out of slice D. And then slice E. And slice F. And it properly recalled the ATU memory for each one of those. It's excellent. Minimize those. Moving on slice G, I'm using Multi-PSK, and slice G corresponds to COM10. But Multi-PSK doesn't have CAT support, so I have to use PTT. So slice G is COM18 down here. So we'll go to Multi-PSK right here. And under configuration, we'll go to the configuration screen. Under serial port, you can see I'm on, whoops, that's wrong COM port. I should be on G, on 18, right there. And you can see it, when I did that, it quickly tried it and switched the TX over to that flag as expected. For sound card output, I'm doing the DAX TX again. For sound card input, I'm picking audio RX7, and RX7, as we see here, corresponds to slice G. So that looks good. Tune here should start working as predicted. I'll go in here. Let me switch to ALE 400. And I'll do a call ID first just to see if it's all working. Move this down some so we can see this. And hit call. Perfect. Awesome. And now, on the last slice, I'm using it for just generic CW. Just watching the bands. Here's some guys talking here. Oh, looks like there might be a... Oh, that's ready. 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 But anyway, so this guy's talking here. And I have DAX set to DAX IQ1. And I have the DAX IQ1 enabled here for 9600 kilobits of bandwidth. And using SDR bridge, where did he go? Right there. I enable DAX IQ1 to skim on slice H. It properly sees it here. And when you click the skim button, it brings up an instance of CW skimmer pre-configured. And it's sitting here decoding this guy right here. So as you can see, this is extremely powerful. All of these programs running at the same time, utilizing all 8 slices of the Flex 6700. I always get people asking me, how in the world could I ever use so many slices of a 6700 when you only have one set of ears? This is how. If you're a Whisper nut, you could run 6 instances of Whisper now, or 8. You can now run multiple instances of JT65, FL Digi, all the different apps together. They all can coexist perfectly without any collision. With a 6700 and 2 antennas, you can do full duplex to do dueling transmissions on different alternating slices if you're really trying to work a lot at one time. The possibility is really just up to your ability to handle it all, but it can do it, and it's working great. When you're all done, what you should probably end up doing is saving this as a single profile, and I call this Digital Dream on my profile. Click open, and you can now you have separate transmit and microphone profiles. So I have a set for digital. I have a set when I want to use my KPA 500. When I want to use my 2-meter amplifier on the 2-meter side, I have a down east microwave 75-watt 2-meter amp, and it allows me to switch between this and have it completely decoupled from my microphones. You can also now delete the default microphone profiles out of the radio, since they're probably not needed by most people, and they just get in the way and clutter things up. So that's about it. for this demonstration. I hope this shows you the new possibilities with SmartSDR version 1.6. It's bringing the level of digital amateur radio to a whole new performance bar, and Flex Radio Systems has been pioneering the way with just the best features along with the best radio possible. So thank you for your time. Leave some information in the comments if you want me to talk about something else or go into more detail on a specific feature or a specific digital application. And that's it for now. 73.